Have you ever just stopped and asked yourself, like, how can I actually know God's plan for my life? Not just guessing or kind of
Yeah.
hoping, but really knowing.
Hmm.
Maybe you're staring down a huge decision right now, or maybe you just feel, I don't know, stuck,
Yeah.
wondering which way to go. It feels like being lost in a maze sometimes, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We've all felt that uncertainty, that frustration when you just can't see the path clearly ahead. It's a really common human feeling.
Yeah. And we all want that, right?
Yeah.
To live with purpose, make the right calls, maybe attract the right opportunities, find success, improve our finances, whatever it is for you.
Exactly. And when you can't see how all the pieces fit, it's so easy to feel lost, maybe even a bit suffocated by, all the unknowns. We tend to make our own maps.
We do. It's natural.
It is. But how often do we really stop and try to connect with the one who actually holds the master blueprint for it all?
That's a great way to put it. It's like trying to understand, I don't know, the blueprints for a massive skyscraper if you're not the architect, right? Without their insight, all those lines and details, they just look like squiggles, confusing. And our lives, way more complex than a building. God's the master architect here. He's the designer. He sees the whole picture.
And this is the really powerful part, I think. He doesn't want you to stay lost or confused. He actually wants to guide you. He wants you to get enough of the plan, step by step, so you can move forward feeling confident.
Okay, and that's exactly what we want to get into in this discussion. We've been looking at some material that lays out some really practical principles and some pretty clear signs, not just fuzzy ideas, but tangible ways you can shift from that guessing game, that doubt, towards real clarity and confidence about God's direction specifically for your life, especially when it comes to things like finding your purpose, attracting success, or making those big life choices feel, aligned and prosperous even.
Yeah, and that pain of uncertainty, a lot of times it comes because we rush ahead, we map out our path based on what we see right in front of us without really seeking that higher perspective, that divine guidance.
Right, and then what happens? Dead ends, frustration, discouragement.
Exactly. It often circles back to trying to figure it all out completely on our own. Now, we definitely have free will, we make choices, absolutely, but that freedom, it kind of operates within this bigger reality of God's, let's call it sovereignty and providence.
Okay, break that down a bit. Sovereignty and providence.
Well, sovereignty is like God's ultimate authority and control over everything. And providence is his active hand in the world, kind of orchestrating things, events, circumstances. Our choices matter. They're real, but they play out within his bigger overarching plan.
Got it. So it's not like we're puppets on a string.
Not at all.
It's more like our actions, our choices happen within this larger design is ultimately aiming for something good. Like that
Yeah.
verse, Romans 8:28, right? God works all things together for the good of those who love him.
Yes. Such a powerful reminder. He's not distant. He's right there, involved, ordering our steps. He sees the beginning from the end, all at once.
Wow.
And really, the key to understanding his plan, it starts with relationship. God actually desires this close, intimate connection with you. He invites you explicitly to ask for his wisdom, to seek his will.
Like in James, where it says, if you lack wisdom, ask God.
Exactly. James 1.5, it's this incredible promise. Ask God, who gives generously to everyone without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So guidance isn't just about getting a big instruction manual downloaded into your brain.
Right. It's not like a memo.
No, it's an active, ongoing relationship. It's about seeking, listening, discerning, his leading, moment by moment, day by day.
Okay, so if he wants us to know, and it's about relationship, what are the practical things? How do we start making our decisions, the big ones, the small ones, line up with this divine plan? Let's get into some of those key principles. First one seems to be about seeking wisdom and counsel.
Absolutely fundamental. You start with the wisdom that's already available, like in spiritual texts, the Bible, for instance. Ask yourself, okay, what universal truths apply here? What does this wisdom say about integrity or relationships or using my gifts in this situation?
But not just relying on my own take on it.
It's critically important. Don't just rely on your own interpretation. Sometimes our view is limited, by our biases or blind spots. Seek help understanding these deeper wisdom texts. Talk to people who know them well.
And build a trusted circle around you.
Sure.
Seek advice from wise people. Could be mentors, close friends, people in your faith community. Proverbs 11.12 actually says something like, where there's no guidance, people fall, but with many counselors, there's victory.
Exactly. Multiple viewpoints help you see things you might miss. But be a little strategic too. Getting tons of conflicting advice from all over the place, that can just create more confusion.
Yeah, too many cooks.
Right. Know who your key trusted advisors are. Process things with them. And maybe a little warning sign here. Be careful of people who just tell you what you want to hear. Proverbs 27.6 says something like, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful." True friends speak truth, even the hard stuff.
Good point. Okay, next principle.
Yeah.
Gather the facts.
Yes. Get all the information you can. Proverbs 18.15 warns about answering before you even hear the whole story, calls it folly. And verse 17 says, "The first side of the argument sounds right until the other side speaks." So dig in, ask questions. Don't let wishful thinking or strong emotions cloud the reality of the situation. Understand it fully before you leap.
And you got to turn that honest look inwards too, right? Assessing your own motives.
That's a big one. The material highlights. Proverbs 16.2 says something like, "Our own ways seem pure to us, but the Lord weighs our motives."
Oof.
Yeah.
It's tough, isn't it? To admit we might have mixed reasons, maybe some pride or fear influencing our choices.
But acknowledging those potential blind spots, crucial. And maybe even give those trusted people permission to ask you the hard questions about your motives.
Okay. Another key principle seems to be about the process itself, specifically being wary of time pressure.
Oh, hugely important. Rushing big decisions because you're afraid of missing out, FOMO, or because you just want that instant gratification, that rarely leads you towards alignment with God's best plan. Proverbs 19.2 warns against being hasty and missing the way.
That old saying comes to mind, when in doubt, leave it out.
It often applies. Patient waiting is frequently part of the divine process. It lets circumstances develop, lets clarity emerge. Psalm 27.14 encourages us, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." Waiting isn't passive, though. It's active trust. And that waiting actually builds strength, like Isaiah 40.3:1 says, and perseverance, according to James 1.
And looking back to learn, reflecting on past choices.
Yes. Look back. What worked, what didn't? Are there patterns you see? Triggers? Recurring mistakes? Understanding how your background, your past, influences how you think now. That can bring massive clarity for the future. Proverbs 26.11 has that blunt image, "Don't be like a dog returning to its vomit, repeating the same folly. Learn the lesson."
Okay, wow. These are really practical. And if these principles for seeking guidance are hitting home for you, if you're feeling that little spark of clarity starting to ignite, maybe take just a second right now and like this video. It really helps us know we're heading in the right direction with this discussion.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want more conversations like this one, helping you navigate your path and maybe even attract more abundance and purpose into your life, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel while you're at it.
Great. So, okay, we're doing the work. Seeking wisdom, getting facts, checking motives, being patient. As we do this and we start moving, maybe making tentative steps, how does God actually confirm things or maybe redirect us? You mentioned these aren't always like big signs beforehand, but things that show up as life happens. What are some of those signs?
Yeah, one that might seem counterintuitive at first is experiencing setbacks and detours.
Right, things going wrong.
Exactly. Obstacles, problems, things that slow you down or maybe totally shift your direction, they can feel painful, for sure. But the material really emphasizes that God often uses these very things to prune away stuff that isn't actually serving his bigger purpose for you. They become these divine strategies to kind of nudge you back onto the right track.
Like the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery, thrown in prison. Those look like the worst setbacks imaginable.
Totally. But they were the exact detours that put him in the position to eventually save his family and a whole nation. It's about seeing the bigger picture, the divine orchestration through the difficulty, sometimes only in hindsight.
Okay, what else?
Answered prayer. That's a pretty clear one. And remember, this isn't just about getting a yes to what you want. A clear no is guidance. A clear wait is guidance.
Right. All our answers.
They're all direct forms of guidance. They show he's engaged, he's listening, he's responding to you seeking him, and remembering past answers. That builds your faith muscles for the tough times. Think about Paul and Silas praising God in prison, or King David asking God if he should pursue the raiders who took his family and getting a clear yes. Relying on prayer shows you're surrendering your will, trusting he hears you, like 1 John 5 says.
That makes sense. What about that feeling of peace? Peace amid chaos.
Ah, yes. That's one many people connect with. It's that internal calm that just doesn't make logical sense given what's going on around you. Philippians 4 talks about this peace that transcends all understanding. It's not based on your ability to control everything.
Because we can't.
Exactly. It's rooted in trusting that God is in control. And you can actually cultivate your sensitivity to this peace through practices like prayer, quiet reflection, meditation. It becomes like an inner compass.
Divine providence, that sounds significant.
It really is, and it's often unmistakable when you look back. This is when God strategically puts the right people or the right resources or opportunities smack dab in your path, seemingly out of the blue.
Like the perfect connection shows up just when you need it.
Yes. The gift of men, as it's sometimes called. Helpful friends, family members, mentors appearing right on time, unexpected financial provision, doors opening that you didn't even knock on.
Right.
It just highlights how meticulous, how intentional God is about supporting your specific journey according to his plan.
Wow, okay. Circumstances too, just the situations around us.
Absolutely. Pay attention to the conditions. Are doors genuinely opening? Are obstacles melting away? Or are roadblocks consistently appearing no matter how hard you push? Be observant, be discerning. Think about the early church. They didn't really leave Jerusalem and spread out until persecution basically made them leave. The circumstance propelled the mission forward.
That's fascinating. What about internal signs, like personal growth?
Yeah, the material points to personal growth and increasing self-awareness as definite signs. As you start aligning more with God's purpose for you, you naturally start uncovering new strengths, maybe understanding your own thought patterns or behaviors better. You realize you have deeper potential than you thought.
Seeing yourself maybe how God sees you.
Exactly. Worthy, capable, loved. That growing self-awareness empowers you to make choices that are genuinely aligned with your core values and your God-given purpose. It's actually God working in you, as Philippians 2.13 puts it, giving you both the desire and the power to act according to his good pleasure, which definitely includes your flourishing. And flowing right from that is often a growing, burning desire to follow God's lead. Not out of guilt or obligation, but this internal passion, this drive for a purpose that's bigger than just your own day-to-day stuff.
Like an entrepreneur totally driven by their vision.
Kind of like that, yeah. This passion starts shaping your direction, helping you prioritize God's will over your own, sometimes limited plans. It's recognizing, like the Apostle Paul did after his encounter with Jesus, that gaining this divine purpose is worth infinitely more than anything else he chased before.
And spiritual growth itself, like becoming a better person.
Tangible evidence, often measured by what are called the fruits of the Spirit, things like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Are you growing in these areas? Becoming more patient, more joyful, more loving? That's real, concrete evidence of alignment and growth. Abiding in that connection with God helps cultivate these qualities naturally.
What about times when you feel alone, isolated?
Yeah, seasons of isolation, they can feel tough, even like punishment sometimes, but often they're actually times of preparation. Think of Moses in the desert for 40 years, or Jesus in the wilderness before his ministry, or David hiding out in caves. These weren't punishments. They were times God used to strengthen them, equip them, prepare them for the next step, the new path. If you're in a season like that, try to embrace it as a time of shaping and molding.
Okay, one more. Community.
Yes, definitely don't underestimate the power of community. God absolutely uses trusted people around you, your spiritual community, supportive friends to offer guidance, confirmation, maybe a needed course correction, and just plain support. That proverb again, 11.1, without that community guidance, people can stumble. We need each other.
Wow, that is a powerful list of signs. Okay, thinking about all those, which ones have you, listening right now, experienced in your own life? As you've navigated the twists and turns, maybe share an insight or even a quick story in the comments below. Let's encourage each other and build up this community.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, okay, let's connect the dots here. How does actually doing these things, applying the principles, recognizing the signs, how does that directly link to attracting, say, success or financial well-being or finding that dream job or just living with purpose?
It seems like it's all about alignment. Right, when you actively seek God's wisdom, when you act with integrity, when you practice patience, when you recognize his hand moving through maybe a setback or providing something unexpectedly, you are literally putting yourself in the flow of his intended design for you.
Exactly. That Romans 8.28 promise isn't just a comforting thought, it's describing a reality. Even the tough stuff, the challenges, are being worked together for your ultimate good and purpose when you're oriented towards him. And Philippians 2.13, again, God is giving you the desire and the power to move towards his good pleasure. And his pleasure absolutely includes your fulfillment, your flourishing, your capacity for abundance.
And that beautiful promise in Psalm 37.4, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart.
Now, that doesn't mean God becomes a cosmic vending machine for every passing whim.
Right.
But it means as you align your heart, your will, your delight with Him, your deepest, truest desires actually start to become aligned with His perfect plan for your success, your impact, your provision. It's like this amazing co-creative process where your aligned intentions meet His divine power.
That's incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's quickly touch on a few common worries or misconceptions people have about this whole God's plan thing.
Yeah.
Just to clear the air and bring some more peace and confidence.
Good idea. First off, you don't need some intense, hours-long prayer session or a dramatic, supernatural sign for every single little decision you make.
Like what socks to wear.
Exactly. A lot of life is just about using the wisdom, the common sense, the conscience God has already given you,
Right.
guided by those foundational principles we talked about.
Okay.
Second,
God's plan for you usually isn't designed to make you miserable or force you into something totally counterintuitive just for the sake of it. Yes, the path might involve challenges, stretching, growth, but His ultimate will is aimed at your good, your freedom, your fulfillment when you embrace it. That's reassuring. What if you feel like you've messed up, taken wrong turns?
yeah, third point. If you feel you've strayed, made mistakes, even big ones, it doesn't mean you're permanently off the path or that God's purpose for your life is just canceled. History and the Bible are full of people who stumbled, sometimes badly, yet God was still able to use them powerfully when they turned back. It's about realigning.
Okay. Fourth, do I need a special feeling for every step?
No, you don't need a specific mystical feeling or, a sign written in the clouds to confirm every single move forward. While that inner peace can be a confirming sign, as we discussed, often just making choices that align with those principles, wisdom, counsel, facts, motives, while staying observant for the other signs, that is how you move forward with confidence. You don't have to wait for goosebumps every time.
Got it. And fifth, does following God's plan mean I have to quit my job and become a missionary or something?
Not necessarily at all. Aligning your life with God's plan doesn't automatically mean abandoning your current career or life situation for some traditional spiritual role, unless that is the clear guidance. Your current job, your family, your neighborhood, your hobbies, these are very often the exact places God has uniquely gifted you and positioned you to live out your purpose and make an impact according to His design. Focus on blooming while you're planted, unless clearly guided elsewhere.
Okay, so the big takeaway here, the core message, it feels really liberating, actually.
Yeah.
You don't have to just guess your way through life. You don't have to just hope you accidentally stumble onto the right path. God is actively, intentionally involved and wants to guide you.
Yes, and really letting that sink in, it brings such a deep sense of peace, doesn't it? Confidence, security, trusting His presence, trusting His guidance. It frees you from that constant anxiety of needing to have the whole map figured out or needing to control every single outcome. He promises never to leave you or forsake you, even when the next step feels a little uncertain.
That's incredibly hopeful. If you found real value, real clarity in our discussion today, please help us reach other people who might be searching for this same kind of direction and peace in their lives. Take just a second to subscribe to our channel and maybe hit that notification bell too, so you don't miss any future discussions we have.
And maybe just one final thought to chew on, building on everything we've discussed. God's ultimate plan working for your good, your part in seeking guidance, recognizing the signs. Consider this for a moment. If you were to truly, fully surrender your personal timeline, your specific desired outcomes for maybe the biggest goals in your life, that career advancement, that level of financial abundance you envision, finding that perfectly aligned relationship, if you surrendered those outcomes to His perfect, sovereign timing and plan, what would that actually look like in how you approach your decisions, your efforts, and your expectations starting today?